Welcome to Paris and to the final day of these incredible Paralympic Games. Coming up, pushing all the way to the finish, a world record time in the marathon. Action from the medal matches in wheelchair basketball. And para-canoeists sprint to glory at Versailles.
For this session, we have 9 individuals who will have dreams of medals and records themselves. It's a fresh field with 5 new Paralympians in Sato Kazuhito.
Round 1, representing Japan, Sato Kazuhito.
Thank you, Joe. It looks like it's going to be a fascinating competition, this men's up to 107 kilogram with, to say it's a good lift out of the 3. Majority rules with the decision. 44 years old now, Sato. First ever Paralympic Games. Competed in World Championships and Asian Para Games. Finishing 6th at the Asian Para Games 2 years ago. Also takes part in wheelchair marathons as well in Japan. He's been lifting for now 7 years. Making his Paralympic debut here at the age of 44 from Kobe. Well, it's a good lift. It's 3 white lights. It's the perfect start for Sato and the competition as a whole. We want to get off to a good start, don't we?
Mutaz Al-Junaidi of Jordan, the 48-year-old from Amman, heads out for his 5th Paralympics. He has a best place finish of a bronze medal dating back to Beijing in 2008.
Start! Whoa! Right.
And he demonstrates it quite cleanly, quite crisply, and with 2 white lights.
Lifted 206 in the World Championships in Dubai last year. 208 here in round 1, improving all the time. Started to lift at the age of 14, Olympic debut for Assis.
Start! Start! Rack!
Told to rack by the chief referee after a good lift. 2 of the 3 referees have given a white light. The chief referee not happy with the stop sequence on his chest. Doesn't matter.
The silver medalist from Tokyo, Malaysia's Zhong Yiki.
Start! Up! Right!
Well, Jung Yi-ki surprised at that outcome. He didn't even look at the board. That's how confident he was.
Santiago last year, making up for a bit of disappointment in the World Championships. A new approach after the World Championships, change of diet and nutrition. For this 50-year-old veteran.
Come on! Stop!
First time at the Paralympics for Bobby Body, 218 kilograms, round one.
Start. Rush. Right.
Wife, Myra, and their one son will no doubt be adding to the roars in this arena or wherever they may be around the world.
Start.
Goodness me.
And attempted 231 kilograms in round one. Individually in Dubai last year, didn't manage a lift. 231, a big weight in round one. Kalimov.
Start.
Very, very smooth on the press. But it's a no lift. It was the stop sequence. The press was perfect, but from where the press started was the issue. The stop sequence, the bar has to come to a stop on the chest, and then the press can continue. Start, it's a...
The weights are rocketing up. This entire field pushing one another to the highest of heights. And we're only in the second round of lifting. 230 kilos to take the bronze medal position.
Start. Rush.
Oh, the fist pump came pretty quickly after that from Body.
Round three underway with Kazuhito Sato. 183 kilograms on the bar for the athlete from Japan.
Start.
Lifting 183, needs to get 2 white lights, he gets 3 red lights unfortunately. It's a no lift and it's a press sequence from all 3 referees and also the stop sequence as well, so very unlikely they'll challenge that, and it will be a first round lift for Kazuhito Sato of Japan of 175 kilograms that he'll look back on his debut at the Paralympic Games and give him a very warm
Returns for his third lift. 208 successful. He owes this career to his PE teacher at school who invited him to powerlift. And it is now no longer just a sport for him. He says he identifies himself with it. He is at one with the bar. Can he be at one with 212 kilos?
Start.
You know what? may just. The passionate embrace between athlete and coach, two men that have been on the journey
that he's ever lifted, apart from when winning his world title. $223 kilograms to move up to the bronze medal position.
Start!
It's going to be a no lift. For Murtaza Al-Janidi. Taking the applause once again.
all those who will follow will remember the manner in which this man broke ground in the sport for Malaysian men. He's got one successful lift of 208 kilos. He's now going for 223 to propel himself into the bronze medal position.
Start!
Gold secured. Garib Shahi attempted to break his own world record with a lift of 261.
Start!
Three red lights. The Iranian didn't look convinced by the decision, but the smile showed he was delighted with the goal. So, Jose de Jesus Castillo from Mexico won the bronze. Silver for Sodman Piljieng Bayar from Mongolia. And the new Paralympic champion is Ali Akbar Garib Shahi from the Islamic Republic of Iran.
As the final day of action at Paris 2024 got underway, a legend of para-athletics was among those on the start line for the men's T54 marathon.
It's a strong field as well, along with Marcel Hu, the likes of Daniel Romanchuk, who's taken a gold medal here at these championships. Multi-talented athlete. And you will be getting some fantastic shots from the helicopter above. The conditions are quite perfect for a marathon, men's marathon T54. Away they go in the men's marathon T54. Marcel Hu, the reigning champion, in the silver helmet and the white shirt at the front of screen there, is the world record holder, as well as being the Paralympic champion. Hu setting that record in Oita in the south of Japan, coincidentally in 2021, a couple of months after he won that Paralympic gold medal in Tokyo. So they set out from La Courneuve in Georges Valbonne Park, and they head down towards Le Bourget in the north of Paris, and it is Marcel Hu who moves out fastest of all from the front with those fellow athletes. Jin Hua, who was gold in the 800 metres and 1500 metres at these games, in third position at the moment, the People's Republic of China athlete. And he knows how to get himself onto the podium of the longer events. But there they go.
Too many incidents. You don't want to pop tyre or anything during this.
Now, it's a little bit different to things we've seen before during the bike races, for example, when you can just all of a sudden pick up another bike. These wheelchairs, they do cost a lot of money, and Well, Marcel Hughes, the top of the range job, I can tell you that, and he's been around for a long time. He's won many major championships. So just over 42 kilometres in length. He's certainly not doing any esports at the moment. He is flying down there with Hugh.
He is, and he's just, you know, leading at the moment. I think these two are the current front runners.
Men's marathon T54. Marcel Hughes out in front. And it is Jin Hua of China, People's Republic of China, who is in second position at the present time. So Hugh had the lead. He's, I suspect after 37 minutes of them eyeing each other up, that he's just let Jin Hua out in front to show a bit of experience and maybe tailgate for a little bit.
Or they could be playing a little bit of cat and mouse to see who's got more strength as the race progresses and as it continues.
Well, Jin has competed in marathons before. He's in the long distances, 7th in the 5,000 metres when it came to Dubai in 2019. That was hot. I can tell you those World Championships in Dubai were very warm indeed. The Olympic and Paralympic Village. So the world record held by Marcel Hughes is 1:17.47, who's out in front there. The Paralympic record, Kurt Fernley, the Australian, set that back in Beijing in 2008. Now this is a course that's not extremely hilly when it comes to big inclines. There are slight ones which are there, and when they get to around the 38 kilometre mark, but they just sat back and they let Marcel Hughes do what he wanted to do, and then he was boxed in with about 600 metres to go, and he ended up in that men's 5,000 metres with only a silver. And there we are further back. It was Brian Seaman of the USA. So Marcel Hughes is, we saw Daniel Ratmanchuk and David Weir. He's 2 minutes and 1 second ahead of those two who were battling it out for 4th and 5th position. Just over 6 kilometres remaining for Marcel Hughes. And he's looking supreme out in front. You can hear the noise of the wheels. It's just bopping around when he's hitting it at 35 kilometres. He went through at 1:11. Marcel Hughes. So there won't be a world record, but there may well be a gold medal. I'm not too sure if I was Marcel Hughes, if I was that far in front that I wouldn't be able to stop and slow down a bit and take in some of the sights as I'm going past. Place de la Concorde, there are a load of cobbles, as you can see, for Marcel Hughes, but he's navigating them quite nicely.
Maybe he's taking in the views as he goes round different parts of the course.
I don't know. Sometimes I look at it and I think, do you know what? I'm that far in front. I can almost have a wave to people and take it in. 2 minutes and 56 seconds ahead of Suzuki is Marcel Hughes, so almost 3 minutes ahead of second place as he cracks on over those cobbles that, well, they can cause a few problems. I guess if there's a few wheelchair races next to each other, especially when you come to a corner like this for Marcel Hughes, well, he's about to head down towards the Champs-Élysées, there is a very big chance that you could perhaps run into someone. Now you can see the hill, the incline there, as they head up towards the Arc de Triomphe in the distance. So there is a slight incline. Now this is the part where it does become a bit tougher, and like any race, no matter what it is, when you come into that final 10% of the race, it does become hard, because psychologically also, you know, you're coming towards the end. Now Marcel Hughes has the luxury of being 3 minutes or so in front. He can have a little bit of a look around. He can perhaps slow down somewhat.
But once you're into your rhythm and once you're into your groove, you want to make sure that you stay in the way that you're actually doing it, and he's doing it very well at the moment. That's a wonderful shot too, by the way, as he heads towards a gold medal in the men's marathon T54. Marcel Hug of Switzerland leads out in front by quite some distance. He might have even given them a bit of a wink. They wouldn't have seen him because of those visor shades he has on there. But he must now surely be thinking to himself, I have this. And that's interesting. Do you see how he puts his chin down, Marcel Hug there? He's bouncing up and down. He put his chin down. He didn't actually move with the wheels. He just let the hill take him down those cobbles. And he knows he's that far in front that he can lose a bit of time, and just to make sure that nothing untoward happens and that he stays in his wheelchair. He has 2 kilometres just over remaining in the men's marathon T54. It's Marcel Hug who's out in front, just over the 1:22:33 minute mark. And Marcel Hug is flying now. He's gone back on the wheels, and, well, he might even stop and get a drink. No, he's decided not to. He's kept on going.
So he is still continuing to storm away as he heads towards winning this gold medal. And he's had a great race so far. He is unlikely to come away with the Paralympic record, but a gold medal for Marcel Hug nonetheless is still an amazing and fantastic achievement.
Yeah, Marcel will be absolutely thrilled with this performance, and perhaps there's a few doubts that might have crept into the mind with the silver in the 1500 metres and 5,000 and bronze in the 800 metres, but when you pick up 4 golds in Tokyo in those 4 events, and you get numbered, don't you, after a while, and people know exactly what. And it was really interesting during the track races that it was almost as if the athletes had worked together to try and make sure that Marcel Hug couldn't get out of a particular position on the track, because they knew if they got out that it'd be so quick around the outside. So Marcel Hug comes down to Esplanade de Anvillers to finish the men's marathon T54. He's a phenomenon. 4 golds in Tokyo, 7 Boston marathons, 5 New York City marathons, 2 in Chicago, 4 in Berlin. And this you can make as a second Paralympic gold after picking up gold in Tokyo 2020. He moves onto the blue carpet. He heads towards the finishing line. Marcel Hug, again, is the Paralympic champion in the men's marathon T54 category in a time of 1:27.39. The 38-year-old Swiss takes gold again. Second and third position, Jin Hua of the People's Republic of China has moved ahead of Suzuki Tomoko. Now, Suzuki looks like he's just accepted it as they head down towards the end, but is he going to put on a big burst and try and catch up with the 24-year-old Chinese athlete? But Jin Hua is going to add to his 2 golds he's picked up here over the 800 metres and the 1500 metres in the para-athlete schedule. Marcel Hug, the winner, but Jin Hua is going to head down to pick up a silver medal to head with his 2 golds he's taken. Jin Hua ahead of his fellow Asian competitor, Suzuki Tomoki. 30 years of age Tomoki in the bronze medal position, but Jin Hua takes the silver. 3 minutes and 40 seconds behind Marcel Hug, and Suzuki, a further 4 seconds back, takes the bronze. Hug with the gold, Jin with the silver, and Suzuki of Japan, bronze medalist, men's marathon T54. So 4th position is Daniel Romanchuk Now, Romanchuk has picked up medals at these games. He won the men's 5,000 metres, holding off the winner of this marathon, Marcel Hug, who took silver in that. He was a bronze medalist in the 400 metres. 26 years of age, from Champaign, Illinois. He's going to miss out on the medals here. He's a phenomenal marathon athlete, but today he's met his match with a 3 in front.
For Hug, a 7th Paralympic gold medal, and his first here at Paris 2024. Next to the women's T54 marathon. Among those taking part, a face that's become familiar over the past 11 days. Catherine de Brunner of Switzerland had already enjoyed a hugely successful Paralympics, winning gold 4 times and silver once. Could she add one more medal on the last day of competition? She started strongly. De Brunner was already racing away from her rivals, and with the crowd offering their support, she maintained the pressure. The lead had grown to more than a minute as she approached the 15-kilometre mark. The cool conditions were helping all the athletes, but the lead at the front was substantial. At halfway, Susanna Scaroni of the United States of America was second, Zhu Xiaoshan of the People's Republic of China third, and defending champion Madison de Rosario of Australia fourth. By now, de Brunner's victory margin seemed likely to be even bigger than Hug's in the men's race. Even the occasional bump in the road didn't affect her rhythm. The iconic landmarks of Paris were providing the ideal backdrop for a high-class performance from Catherine de Brunner. And as she approached the finish line, she could enjoy the perfect ending to a remarkable Paralympic Games. Catherine de Brunner, the winner in 1 hour, 41 minutes and 50 seconds. More than 4 minutes after de Brunner had crossed the line, Madison de Rosario of Australia took silver, and Susanna Scaroni of the United States of America finished third. But for the 5th time at Paris 2024, Catherine de Brunner of Switzerland was the Paralympic champion.
I have never ever had that experience. I really thought I gonna die. And I was really afraid that I'm gonna fall because it was so difficult to keep the balance. And yeah, I'm just super exhausted, but I'm extremely happy and I can't believe that I won this super tough marathon.
I feel so tired. It was so tough out there, especially with the cobblestones. But it was the same for everyone. But yeah, I'm so happy. But also, I'm so exhausted now, but so happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the moment we have all been waiting for. Representing in blue, white and red, France. Please welcome to the mat, Nasser, the handy-capable Zorgani. Hello everyone, my name is Nasser Zorgani. I'm 38 years old, I originate from Algeria and grew up in Marseille. And I now live in Paris and I represent France in para-judo in the plus 90 kilogram category for the visually impaired at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. I have a degenerative disease. It is a progressive degeneration of the retinal cells, which caused me to start losing my vision at the age of 17. My disability has always been my drive. Throughout my life, it has always pushed me to do things, because I have always believed that I was capable of doing things. Hence my little nickname, Nasser the Handy-Capable.
Et voilà, j'ai présenté 235 combats.
So I have presented 235 matches of the Olympic boxing tournament at the Paris 2024 Games. It was an incredible experience. And in terms of inclusion, it's a strong message that we are sending to all promoters, to everyone. Boxing, the world of sports, having a sports presenter who cannot see the ring or the athletes, presenting the matches and motivating the crowd is quite exceptional. I think this is where, together, collectively with Paris 2024, we succeeded in telling a very good story, and it was a team effort.
In fact, my sports practice has evolved with my vision. And so losing my sight has not been a problem because martial arts taught me to lose my sight, to develop a mental vision, to manage space, the body. And I think that's what's helped me in judo today, to learn very quickly, because I learn very, very quickly. I have a memory that is quite curious, actually. After representing boxing and transitioning to judo, and then I paraded on the Champs-Élysées for the opening ceremony. I'm still on cloud 9. In fact, it's simple. In life, you need to know where you come from and where you're going.
The final men's game in wheelchair basketball at Paris 2024. The gold medal match between Great Britain and the United States of America, with both sides hoping to make Paralympic Games history. For Great Britain, the goal was to become champions for the first time. They got a good start when Phil Pratt picked out Lee Manning. The USA were aiming to become the first team to claim 3 consecutive gold medals. Jake Williams, a key part of their 2 previous winning sides. GB needed a response. How about this from Phil Pratt? Seconds later, Williams again at the other end. Immediately followed by another from Pratt, a captain's contribution to keep his side in touch. Time to draw breath? Not a chance. Steve Serio to fellow 2-time gold medalist Trayvon Jennifer. The Americans up 23-18. Into the second quarter, Serio and Jennifer struck before the US captain sank this 3 for an 11-point lead. Warburton wasn't happy.
Our defence is not at the level that we promised each other. It was going to be at the second side of the key. We're not tripling, we're not quadding. Basic, simple, hard, discipline, highlight, let's go.
He scored this at the end of the second quarter, but the British were down by 7 at half-time. Plenty for their coach to ponder. GB simply had to win the third quarter. Manning continued to pick up rebounds and points. But Serio and Williams were relentless. At the end of the third quarter, the US were 10 points clear. Great Britain kept pushing. Pratt with this to make it a 3-point game. But the gap was too big to make up. Williams scored to add security and finish as the tournament's top scorer. Cue wild celebrations from the United States, the undisputed heavyweights of wheelchair basketball. No team has won more Paralympic golds. They're 3 in a row, an achievement for the ages. It finished Great Britain 69, the USA 73. So to the medal ceremony. Germany were the bronze medalists. Great Britain received the silver medals, and gold to the United States, their 10th Paralympic title.
I mean, these are what dreams are made of, right? The amount of hard work and sacrifice that goes into winning a gold medal. I'm just so incredibly proud of our team. I'm so incredibly proud of our staff. We knew that this was going to be the goal from day one, and there's going to be plenty of time to reflect on the 3 people right now. We're just happy to bring home another gold medal for our country. This is the net that we won the gold medal on, so yeah, that's coming home with me.
Winning a gold at Tokyo and then winning another gold at Paris, it was a whole journey. I was just, happy that I was able to do it. My mind was, there were a lot of things running inside my mind from the starting, but I was trying to, keep myself calm and focus on the process. I was just taking it one shot at a time. So I just thought, okay, let's give my last shot my best shot. There were a lot of expectations from myself, from people around me, from people from my country, my family. This year, my health was not that good. So focusing on training was like a, second point. I was just looking after myself, my body first. But then I was okay. I was thinking, okay, let's not think about this setback. That was also the reason I was a little nervous, but everything worked well, so I'm happy now. I was around 10 years old when our whole family met with a car accident. I was majorly hurt. Starting a new life on a wheelchair, it took a long time. It was a whole journey. My parents, like my father, he helped me in shooting. He was more interested in it rather than me. My mother, she has been traveling with me since day one. This will be her second Paralympic Games and 3 medals. So I think all of this goes to her. It's because of them I am able to even think of winning medals. When I hold the rifle, I feel so confident. I feel like, if I can shoot this good, I can do anything.
The stage was set for the women's singles Class 9 in para-table tennis. Jung Guiyun of the People's Republic of China played Karolina Peck of Poland. Jung had taken silver in Tokyo and was looking to go one better here. This was Peck's first Paralympic singles final. She started strongly, playing good tactical shots to take the first game by 11 points to 7. But Jung of China took the next 2 to take the lead by 2 games to 1. The 4th game went to a tiebreak. Neither player was willing to concede without a fight. But Peck of Poland edged it, taking the match into a 5th and final game. Peck reached the gold medal point first, serving for the match. To the delight of her coach, she'd done it. Karolina Peck of Poland was the new Paralympic champion. The final para-table tennis match of Paris 2024 was the men's singles Class 4. Wanchai Chaiwut of Thailand against Kim Yong-gun of the Republic of Korea. Kim of Korea had taken silver in Tokyo. Chaiwut had come 9th at that time. But a lot can change in 4 years, and this time Chaiwut took an early lead.
11-6. First game to serve.
Kim came back in the second. It took 5 game points, though, to eventually level the score. This game went the full distance. A At 6-0 up in the fifth and final game, the Korean had a huge advantage. At 10-5 up, he was serving for gold. In the end, it was a comfortable win. Kim Yong-gun of the Republic of Korea had reclaimed the singles title he last won at London 2012. A fitting finale to the para-table tennis at Paris 2024.
I always say, like, when you're an athlete and you're training towards Paralympics, you have to be so selfish. Like, everything is about you and that performance. And then when you become a parent, it's the most selfless thing you can do. Everything is about your child.
I've always wanted to be a mum. We always knew we wanted to have kids. Obviously, we knew that if, I didn't get pregnant quick enough, it would probably mean that I didn't do Paris. I was happy to run that risk over not losing out on the chance to have a child.
In lane 3 for Great Britain, Lauren Rolls and Greg Stevenson.
To call yourself a Paralympian is such a huge honour. You get to exist in like the 1% club in the world. Knowing that they were there, it was just like really, it was all I could focus on was just them being there and getting through the finish line and looking for them.
Trying to start really well.
I think I had a few people on the edge of their seats, Jude included, thinking, what is she doing? Put her foot on the gas.
Oh my God, oh my God.
I'd say this is getting a little dangerous for Lauren Rawls and Greg Stevenson if they're hoping to snatch that gold medal.
Let's go, Lauren!
Britain with so much work to do here.
Oh my God, I don't know.
Where have they found this speed?
Rawls and Stevenson for a glory gold medal performance, taking down the Chinese.
For me, it wasn't just a moment of thinking about myself and what I had achieved in the sport. It was a moment of coming through that finish line and thinking, like, we have done this. And I look out there and I caught their eye just as I got onto the podium, and I just couldn't hold back the tears at that point. To have the gold medal, it felt like everything we spoke about, our dream year to be, had happened in that moment, and it just didn't get better than that. And that's from two athletes.
The crowd at the Vers-sur-Marne Nautical Stadium would witness some brilliant battles as several para-canoe events came to a close.
We need to cooperate for our competitors and not play a role in today's racing.
From India, Pooja Oja, who has been a three-time silver medalist at the World Champs, one boat earlier this year in Szeged, Vanuna de Paulis, 38 from Velletri in Italy, just off the podium in Tokyo in the KO1 for Ji Mao-shan, 38 from China. And fifth in the KO1 in Tokyo, Brianna Hennessy has already written a new chapter for Canada's Paralympic athletes, delivering that nation's first ever medal of silver in the VL2. Andrea Brasamonte, 53 from Argentina. She has been a fourth place finisher in the VL1 at the World Champs. That happened.
Ready, set,
And the last day of racing gets underway here. Semi-finals in the women's KL1. All races over 200 metres. There's a problem on the start line there for Brasamonte, the Argentine. So here we have basically our three qualifiers. Led out by Chi Maoshan, the Chinese paddler in lane 5. Next up is Brianna Hennessy. We've seen Hennessy have some speed out on the water already in this regatta. And then Iolona de Paulis, who drops off the back. She knows that she'll be through though, and Hennessy is trying to take down Maoshan as they come up to the line. These 200-metre races are over in double quick time. Hennessy may well have a finish here to start out the final day in the winning groove. It's going to be very close here between China and Canada as they come up to the line. Hennessy might well have it. It could be a photo. It's Hennessy from Xi. And then coming in third place, Eleonora de Paulis. So Canada, China and Italy in the middle lanes are going to go through. And Brasamonte, who had a dreadful start in truth, she really struggled to get those paddles in the water and get any kind of speed out of the traps. Goes out with Pooja Oja of India. And we have our three qualifiers, 0.26, so just a shade over a quarter of a second separating Canada and China. Hennessy, quite know what happened at the start there. That's nicely done in the first race of the day.
And we saw that really tight racing between Brianna Hennessy and Xi. No doubt these two are going to want to go toe-to-toe and really put the pedal down in this qualifying semifinal, because we have all three of our Tokyo medalists returning in this event, and I think Hennessy and the Chinese athlete are really interested in getting into the mix and seeing if they can knock one of these returners off the podium. So taking the top advancement spot out of this semi is going to put either of these athletes in a really good position to be really in the mix with those event leaders who have already gone through in day one. So that's a great effort from these two, really to go full gas despite being really clearly ahead of the field and easily kind of into qualifying position through this semi. Getting that top spot puts them in a middle lane and more kind of in the action in the middle of the course when they show up in the final.
Good job. Thanks.
Brianna Hennessy, Xi Maoshan, Eleonora de Paulis go through then to make the A final in the women's KL1. Has to race one extra race here to try and go through. Of course, we fully expect her to make it, we really do. But these are her competitors. Adriana Gomez Azevedo, Brazil, lane 3, and the 46 is in the Tokyo event.
In lane 4 from Japan,
10th. Seriu Monica
at the 2023 World Championships.
She's been a
In lane 5,
four-time medalist at World Champs. Edina Muller, the big favourite here to go through. She will almost certainly make it. It's the 41-year-old's third Paralympic Games, silver and gold already, Rio and Tokyo. And then Jeanette Chippington, the absolute legend, is still going strong here at 54. The woman whose Olympic Paralympic story started way back in Seoul in 1988. She's been on the podium in Rio and Tokyo as well. Jeanette.
Ready, set.
So 4 boats in this race, only the last place finisher will not progress. We're looking for the front 3, and Muller and Seriu in the middle lanes get out the quickest. Perhaps as expected, Edina Muller hits the front ahead of Monica Seriu. So it's going to be between Brazil and Britain, Adriana Gomez Azevedo and Jeanette Chippington to nail that last qualifying spot in the final. And at the moment, Chippington has it. It's all about whether Adriana Azevedo can finish strongly over the last 30 metres or so. Paralympic Games best time 53.95 from Edina Muller in Tokyo. So they all come in well under a minute here in this 200-metre race. The women's KL1, the second of two semi-finals, and Muller holding plenty back, I think, comes through for the win, and then it's Seriou. And Chippington makes another Paralympic para-canoeing A final, and Adriana Gomez Azevedo over there on the far side drops out. So Muller 57.10 wins that with plenty to spare. Inside a second of her was Seriou Monika from Japan, and Chippington is in the conversation again for more the para-canoeing medals. That's fantastic to see the 54-year-old get through again to another gold medal race. Adriana Gomez Azevedo finishes in 1 minute 13.13. That's 3 seconds back. No surprises there in that heat.
Probably no surprises here. We did see our middle lane favorite of Edina Muller just getting out there and really just getting in control early on, making sure that she locked up that qualification position for herself. But Jeanette Chippington really had her feet to the fire here. This Brazilian athlete, Gomez de Azevedo, really did not let up in the second half of this race, making sure that Chippington was really going to earn her spot all the way to the line. But I think you're right. Muller, I think, has a little bit more to give, a little bit more in the tank for the final. So we should see something pretty special from her once we get everyone lined up for the final in this event. But great turnout from the Japanese athlete, Monika Seriou, reversing the results that she had against Jeanette Chippington at the World Championships this year by a couple of places. So that's a great turnout from her in this semifinal.
Another German athlete had semi-final success in the women's KL2 category as Anja Adler advanced.
Suba, just up the podium in the KL1, which that boat division won a silver in Rio, 4 world champs silvers.
In lane 2 from Canada, Mathieu Sanchez, 7th at the World Championships.
Para canoeing and
in
para
lane
rowing
3 from the United States of America, Blake Paxton, your Tokyo silver medalist.
Is the silver medalist from Tokyo.
In lane 4 from
the
Brazil,
33-year-old bronze at the World Champs. But the Brazilians are really strong in this race. Middle lanes occupied by Ayo Topolini, the 41-year-old. It's a 9th in the KL2 in Rio, skipped to Tokyo. We've got Fernando Rufino de Paulo, who is the defending champion.
In lane 6 from Portugal,
Roberto Moral, who's been really quick on this racetrack as well here. The 43-year-old Portuguese,
in lane 7 from
the
Ukraine,
European champion, who
7th
got
at the
the
2023
bronze
World
in
Championships.
Tokyo. Andrew Kuchun, 40 from
And in lane 8
Ukraine,
from Great
again
Britain,
has good heritage, but wants a breakthrough medal at the Para Games, and likewise booked it on his Para Games
in this
debut.
men's single 200 meters
The muscle man
semi-final.
from Chelmsford, 10th and 9th best finishes in this event at
Hold your
Set in
positions.
this final if we're not careful.
Ready,
and do it twice
set.
in one day. The American certainly came in that semi-final a little earlier in this session. They're underway in the men's A final. VO2, Rufinho de Paulo didn't quite get the best start there. I mean, we'll be looking at Morale as well to get in that medal conversation as well. He's in form. Morale though has just been dropped by Rufinho de Paulo, who delivers all that raw power and energy. And it's going to be a battle for third at present, it seems, between Topolini and Morale. But Rufinho de Paulo is looking for successive gold medal finishes in this event. The men's at VO2 looks like he's going to deliver exactly that. He's out in front, Fernando Rufinho de Paulo. It is Topolini from Morale, and then here comes Haxton, the American. He's putting a surge in, and he's going to come through and fit for the silver. It's
Haxton. Oh, so close, and it's Rafinha de Paolo with another goal. We know that. Looks to the heavens. So Brazil do have that gold. Let's wait and see if Haxton could crack that second place. He came through for a brilliant finish. Well, you just called it, Megan. We've had a new Paralympic Games best time, 54.7. Rafinha de Paolo taking a couple of seconds off Haxton from earlier. And the American waits to see.
Really just powered through in the first half just to get himself into that position. There was no catching him.
So close again.
Yeah, you can see he's just taking his time just to get the boat up and running before he starts cranking on the stroke right there. So in control, doesn't even need to look up. Just looking exactly where the paddle's going to hit the water. And great effort here from the other Brazilian in this race, Toffolini, to break onto the Paralympic Games podium.
Break into the scene entirely. He's a relative newcomer, isn't he, to the entire sport. Igor Topolini. They were the two quickest in their heats. Fernando Rafinha de Paolo and Igor Topolini. I mean, top three there separated by just a second and a third. So Haxton, 52.69, set that Paralympic Games best time in the semi-final. And then it comes down by a couple of seconds again, within the hour, by Fernando Rafinha de Paolo, with an explosive performance to win the gold medal, again, in the men's vast single, VL2 division.
Well, this is where having teammates can be such an important thing. If you're the fastest two athletes in an event in the world, it's great to have each other as training partners.
Ninth in the VL2 final, again outside lane. KO2, 12th place. To come to the forefront.
Sets.
Wins KO2 PS2024 in our weeks over Henshaw, Ryder, Cycle, Wang and Felipe Vidigal. And look at that start, that is incredible. To hit the rocket booster already. Charlotte Henshaw out in front from the athlete right next to her, that's Katalin Varga. But Charlotte Henshaw get into the provisional gold medal spot at the moment. It's going to take something absolutely sensational to overhaul her. I'm not sure anyone has it. Wiggs over there on the far side in the bronze medal position at the moment. Oh, what's happened? What's happened there with Varga? So that's given Henshaw an even greater lead, and Wiggs has come through from Anya Adler. Cycle nowhere at present. What a shame for Katalin Varga. So it's going to be a coronation here. Again, for Henshaw. Great recovery, but Wiggs is going to come through again in second. And then it's Adler in third, and Varga really picked it up. What on earth happened at midway? Henshaw has back-to-back golds, and it's another silver for Wiggs. That's the same 1-2 as Tokyo. And Varga, who won that bronze on the Sea Forest Waterway, just slipped up mid-race.
Well, brilliant from Charlotte Henshaw. I mean, I don't know that we doubted that she was going to come out storming in this final. Katalin Varga, I think she's going to have some things to think about, because I think she might have given that away, just letting the steering get away from her in the middle of the race, maybe not giving it as much attention as she needed, because she was tracking Henshaw so closely.
BL3 and now KL2. We know that Great Britain is so strong in para-canoeing at the Paralympic Games. It's another gold medal as expected. Adler, joining the club, the medal club there.
We can take a look at the start here. It was Charlotte Henshaw, really from the get-go. She got out there with some focus and determination. Tracked really closely by Varga, though. She was best of the rest there coming out of the gates. And she really put on a challenge. Katalin Varga tracking Charlotte Henshaw through the middle of the race. Wiggs doing a really nice job just to check Adler down the track as well. Because there we can see Katalin Varga just maintaining that overlap over halfway, but then she's getting just too close to the buoys. You can see she has to check it down in order to get herself off the line and stay in her lane. And
tough
that's
to watch, isn't it?
so gutting.
Yeah.
And that's some of the crosswind at play there. Unfortunately, it is an outdoor sport, and it's something that we just need to keep an eye on as outdoor athletes. But just so focused on that margin, I think, and trying to maintain the speed to hang on to Henshaw, and it just cost her. Brilliant recovery, because getting back into it and even being close to overlap with the other two medalists, I think, is really a testament to the speed in the Hungarian boat. But what a costly mistake that was.
More gold medal performances for Great Britain, and indeed for Henshaw. Silver when she was a para swimmer in the SB600 breaststroke back in London. She's made this switch of sports, and she is absolutely bossing it in para canoeing.
Good job. I'm so proud of you. Come on. You're amazing. Well done.
From Egypt, Salwa Ahmed, Egypt providing pathways into the para canoeing for the first time at the Games.
10th at the 2022 World
12th
Championships.
at the World Champs. Best finish of 10th.
In lane
In the
4
KO2, that
from
was the World Champs a couple of years ago.
Shiho,
Nova
9th
Scotia.
at the 2022 World Championships.
Shiho from Japan.
In lane 5 from Thailand, Wasana Kutawisab, 10th at the 2024 World Championships.
Egyptian paddlers representing their nation for the
And
first
in
time
lane
at the Games.
6 from Hungary,
We've got
Dalma
Dalma
Batitsa,
Bolizar for
5th at the
BL2,
2024
10th
European
post finisher for the
Championships.
21-year-old.
Your 4
So
athletes in
there's
this
plenty
B
more
final,
Paralympic Games
the
in this
women's
paddler.
single 200 meters
Euro champs,
KL2, vying
fifth.
for 9th to 12th
She was
at the
9th at the
Paralympic Games.
2023 World Champs in Duisburg in Germany.
Hold your positions. Ready, set.
Is it
The Thai paddler Kutawisab is struggling a little bit in that starting group. So Bolizar is out the quickest by the looks of things. So Miyajima Shiho as well has pulled forward. And the Japanese paddler has the lead here in this B final. It's the KO2 division. We're racing over 200 metres. Salwa Ahmed's going really well as well. This could be a breakthrough because, okay, it's a B final, but still a Paralympic final, and to claim victory in that is no mean feat. We have Miyajima from Ahmed, Bolizar then, and Kutawisab, who's recovered well actually after that shaky start. Ahmed did have a little bit of extra power at the finish. It's Asia versus Africa here with Japan against Ahmed, and what a great surge from Salwa Ahmed, who is coming up to the line. She might well have the Japanese here. It's a bit of a photo actually for the race win in the B final, but what a sprint finish there from Salwa Ahmed. I think she may have taken that. Miyajima had the lead pretty much the whole way through.
She did indeed, but really just getting the power on the blades there in the Egyptian boat.
Push there to the line on the Egyptian paddler.
Well, the super takeaway from this is that both of these two paddlers who ended up out front and going toe-to-toe, they're both first-time Paralympians. So getting the experience of having super close racing, really intense competition where it does come down to just inches over the entire race course, it's super valuable athletic experience that they can take away. They can be super proud of hanging really tough and not backing down. It's really, really valuable stuff to take away and apply to the rest of your career.
Wow, half a boat length down. Ahmed tore into it.
You can really see just how much she's really getting after each stroke of the blade there. And it was just enough, just a couple of inches between her and Miyajima at the line.
Well, that is Algeria winning an A final and Egypt winning a B final on their debut at para-canoeing at the Paralympic Games, and that represents real, genuine progression. Absolutely superb. And a second place finish as well for Miyajima Shiho, 102.43. Just 0.11 back. That's how close it was. So Salwa Ahmed then finishes 9th overall in the women's KL2, 10th for Miyajima. Such a strong field here in the A final of the women's KL2. Talia Eda, outside lane for Israel. KL2 though, bronze at the Euros, so there is form there. Emma Wiggs again already with the gold medal in the VL2, the brilliant Brit at 44. Changed coach after Tokyo and fighting again for more medals. Anja Adler, 35 from Germany. She was 4th, just off the podium. Charlotte Henshaw, the preeminent paddler in this division. Paralympic Games best time holder, defending champion from Tokyo, world champion. Katalin Varga took away the European crown when Henshaw wasn't there in Szeged earlier this year. World champ silver, bronze in Tokyo. That was after a 5th in Rio. Saipul, hugely experienced, has the bronze from the VL2 already here at VL Saman. Wang Danshin, the 40 from China, 6th in Rio, upgraded. Well, that's the aim this time around. And Inés María Felipe Vidigal, Spain in lane 8.
Vying for the medals in this
9th in the VL2 final, again outside lane. KL2, 12th place to come to the forefront.
Sets.
Women's KL2 A final here in Paris 2024 in 8 weeks. Adler Henshaw, Weiler, Saipul, Wang and Felipe Vidigal. And look at that start, that is incredible. To hit the rocket booster already. Charlotte Henshaw out in front from the athlete right next to her, that's Katalin Varga. But Charlotte Henshaw get into the provisional gold medal spot at the moment. It's going to take something absolutely sensational to overhaul her. I'm not sure anyone has it. Wiggs over there on the far side in the bronze medal position at the moment. Oh, what's happened? What's happened there with Varga? So that's given Henshaw an even greater lead, and Wiggs has come through from Anja Adler. Saipul nowhere at present. What a shame for Katalin Varga. So it's going to be a coronation here. Again, for Henshaw. Great recovery, but Wiggs is going to come through again in 2nd. And then it's Adler in 3rd, and Varga really picked it up. What on earth happened at midway? Henshaw has back-to-back golds, and it's another silver for Wiggs. That's the same 1-2 as Tokyo. And Varga, who won that bronze on the Sea Forest Waterway, just slipped up mid-race.
Well, brilliant from Charlotte Henshaw. I mean, I don't know that we doubted that she was going to come out storming in this final. Katalin Varga, I think she's going to have some things to think about, because I think she might have given that away, just letting the steering get away from her in the middle of the race, maybe not giving it as much attention as she needed, because she was tracking Henshaw so closely.
VL3 and now KL2. We know that Great Britain is so strong in para-canoeing at the Paralympic Games. It's another gold medal as expected. Adler, joining the club, the medal club there.
We can take a look at the start here. It was Charlotte Henshaw, really from the get-go. She got out there with some focus and determination. Tracked really closely by Varga, though. She was best of the rest there coming out of the gates. And she really put on a challenge. Katalin Varga tracking Charlotte Henshaw through the middle of the race. Wiggs doing a really nice job just to check Adler down the track as well. Because there we can see Katalin Varga just maintaining that overlap over halfway, but then she's getting just too close to the buoys. You can see she has to check it down in order to get herself off the line and stay in her lane.
That's tough to watch, isn't it?
So gutting.
Yeah.
And that's some of the crosswind at play there. Unfortunately, it is an outdoor sport, and it's something that we just need to keep an eye on as outdoor athletes. But just so focused on that margin, I think, and trying to maintain the speed to hang on to Henshaw, and it just cost her. Brilliant recovery, because getting back into it and even being close to overlap with the other two medalists, I think, is really a testament to the speed in the Hungarian boat. But what a costly mistake that was.
More gold medal performances for Great Britain and indeed for Henshaw. Silver when she was a para swimmer in the SB600 breaststroke back in London. She's made this switch of sports and she is absolutely bossing it in para canoeing.
Good job. I'm so proud of you. Come on. You're amazing. Well done.
Behind the gold medal winner, Charlotte Henshaw of Great Britain.
Suba,
200 meters, field
just
2,
off the podium in the KO1.
from Hungary, Robert Suba.
Which that boat division, he won a silver in Rio, 4 world champs silvers.
In lane 2
St.
from
Pierre,
Canada,
fifth
Mathieu
in
Sanchez, 7th at the World Championships.
Para canoeing and
In
para
lane
rowing
3 from
actually
the
in
United
Tokyo,
States of America,
definite
Blake
contender for
Paxton, your
medals
Tokyo silver
again.
medalist.
Is the silver medalist from Tokyo.
In lane 4 from
the
Brazil,
33-year-old bronze at the world champs. But the Brazilians are really strong in this race. Middle lanes occupied by Igor Topolini, the 41-year-old. So 9th in the KO2 in Rio, skipped to Tokyo. We've got Fernando Rufino de Paulo, who is the defending champion.
In lane 6 from Portugal,
Roberto Moral has been really quick on this racetrack as well here. The 43-year-old Portuguese.
In lane 7 from
the
Ukraine,
European champion, who
7th
got
at the
the
2023
bronze
World
in
Championships.
Tokyo. Andrew Kuchun, 40 from
And in lane
Ukraine.
8 from Great
Again
Britain,
has a good heritage, but wants a breakthrough medal at the Para Games, and likewise booked an eye to Para Games
in this
debut.
men's single 200 meters,
The muscle man from Chelmsford, 10th and 9th best finishes in this event at
Hold your
Set in
positions.
this final if we're not careful.
Ready,
Paxton do it twice
set.
in one day. The American certainly coming up to semi-final a little earlier in this session. They're underway in the men's A final. VO2, Rufinho de Paulo didn't quite get the best start there. I mean, we'll be looking at Morale as well to get in that medal conversation as well. He's in form. Morale has just been dropped by Rufinho de Paulo, who delivers all that raw power and energy. And it's going to be a battle for third after, as it seems, between Topolini and Morale. But Rufinho de Paulo is looking for successive gold medal finishes in this event. The men's at VO2 looks like he's going to deliver exactly that. He's out in front, Fernando Rufinho de Paulo. It is a Topolini from Morale, and then here comes Haxton, the American. He's putting a surge in, and he's going to come through and fit for the silver. Is it Haxton? Oh, so close, so close. It is Rufinho de Paulo with another goal. We know that. Looks to the heavens. So Brazil do have that gold. Let's wait and see if Haxton could crack that second place. He came through for a brilliant finish. Well, you just called it, Megan. We've had a new Paralympic Games best time, 54.7. Rufinho de Paulo taking a couple of seconds off Haxton from earlier. And the American waits to see.
Really just powered through in the first half just to get himself into that position. There was no catching him.
So close again.
Yeah, you can see he's just taking his time just to get the boat up and running before he starts cranking on the stroke right there. So in control, doesn't even need to look up. Just looking exactly where the paddle's going to hit the water. And great effort here from the other Brazilian in this race, Topolini, to break onto the Paralympic Games podium.
Break into the scene entirely. He's a relative newcomer, isn't he, to the entire sport. Igor Topolini. They were the two quickest in their heats. Fernando Rufinho de Paulo and Igor Topolini. I mean, top three there separated by just a second and a third. So Haxton, 52.69, set that Paralympic Games best time in the semi-final. And then it comes down by a couple of seconds again, within the hour, by Fernando Rufinho de Paulo, with an explosive performance to win the gold medal, again, in the men's vast single, VO2 division.
Well, this is where having teammates can be such an important thing. If you're the fastest two athletes in an event in the world, it's great to have each other as training partners.
But taking the men's VL2 gold medal for the second time in his career was Brazil's Fernando Rufino de Paulo.
It was so challenging. You can see we all had a bit of a wobble in the middle, great big crosswind, but I think it's testament to the guys back at home, my coach Hannah, who sort of reminds us every day that we can manage in any conditions, and I had to draw on every ounce of that in that race, and thankfully, got me over the line in that gold medal position. I couldn't be happier.
भारत की पहली पैरा कैनोइस्ट पैरालंपिक एथलीट आज पेरिस 2024 में मैं पार्टिसिपेट किया। 4 महीने से मुझे इंजरी हो रखा था। डॉक्टर ने कल ही मेरा रेस के बाद जो मेरा हीट था उसमें कॉर्निया ब्लास्ट हो गया था, मतलब उसमें थोड़ा सा छेद हो गया था। तो डॉक्टर ने बोला था कि इट्स योर कॉल, आपको पार्टिसिपेट करना है क्या नहीं। उन्होंने तो मुझे मना कर दिया था कि आप ना ही करें तो ज़्यादा अच्छा है, बट मैंने सोचा इतने बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म पे मैं आई हूँ, फिर यहाँ पे विड्रॉ कर लूँगी तो कोई मतलब नहीं निकलेगा, तो मुझे लगा कि मुझे पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहिए। और आज जब मैंने सेमीज़ खेला तो मैं फ़ाइनल में भी थी, तो मेरे लिए ये बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है कि मैं फ़ाइनल ए में रीच किया। और इट्स ओके अगर आज मेरा 8th पोजीशन आया बिकॉज ऑफ माय इंजरी। मैं अगले जो LA में जो पैरालंपिक्स होने वाले हैं उसके लिए अच्छे से तैयारी करूंगी, और नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं प्रॉमिस करती हूं कि उसमें गोल्ड ही उठाऊंगी।
मैं इंडिया से पहला KL1 का मैन खिलाड़ी हूं। मैं मेरा काफ़ी अच्छा अचीवमेंट रहा कि मेरे लिए तो बड़ी प्राउड की बात यही है और देश के लिए भी कि मैं इस गेम से यहाँ तक ओलंपिक खेलने के लिए आ सका। और मैंने हीट और सेमीफाइनल में अपनी तरफ से अपना बेहतर परफॉर्मेंस करने की कोशिश की और किया भी, बट जो उम्मीद हमारे देश को थी बट वहाँ तक मैं फाइनल में नहीं जा पाया और मेडल नहीं जीत पाया, जिसका मुझे बहुत दुख है। बट मैं आगे के लिए कह सकता हूँ, श्योरिटी दूंगा कि मैं अपने देश को इसी खेल से कैनो कैकिंग में ही मैं अपने देश और अपनी फेडरेशन इंडियन कैकिंग कैनिंग फेडरेशन को एक मेडल जरूर दिला के रहूँगा ओलंपिक में। जैसा कि अभी वर्तमान में पेरिस 2024 पैरालंपिक में मैंने प्रतिभाग किया और आने वाले 2028 ओलंपिक के लिए मैं अभी से ही प्रिपरेशन चालू करूँगा और आगे फ्यूचर में ज़रूर अपने देश को एक मेडल दिला के रहूँगा।
Women's events of the para-powerlifting moved to the up to 86 kilos category. Tayana Medeiros from Brazil had finished 5th at Tokyo 2020 and was looking for improvement this time around.
Start!
A lift of 137 kilos, which she made look very comfortable, to move her into a place on the podium. She would face stiff competition though from Zheng Feifei from the People's Republic of China. Zheng added 13 kilos more to the bar.
Start!
Incredible power, quickly done, and looking like she had more to give. Marian Serrano from Chile was quickly out for her second lift. 134 kilos on the bar.
Start!
It was good, and the 25-year-old moved into third. Medeiros increased her weight to 142 kilos to try to secure silver medal position.
Start!
Another lift executed with ease, flawlessly done, and Medeiros on her way to her first Paralympic medal. She would do well to catch Zheng though. Her second lift of 155 kilos would break the Paralympic record.
Start!
Composing herself, Zheng took her time and produced another clean lift. Silver medalist from Tokyo 2020, looking good to go one better. Into the final round, and the medal positions appeared to be all confirmed. Medeiros in silver, but her weight of 147 kilos wouldn't worry Zheng in gold. The lift was good and the silver medal secured. but she signalled she was keen to come back for a fourth lift, the power lift, allowed because she was within 10 kilos of the Paralympic record. Tactics came into play now. Zheng wanted to go heavier to stay ahead of Medeiros' next attempt, but how much to add? She went for a world record attempt of 160 kilos.
Start!
A huge roar from the crowd. Zheng completed the lift, but the referees didn't deem it to be good. This was a problem for Zheng, because her final lift wasn't clean. She wasn't eligible for a fourth lift. Her best was 155 kilos and the gold was at risk. Medeiros had the chance not only to break the Paralympic record, but to snatch gold from Zheng. 156 kilos, one more than Zheng lifted. Could she complete the lift?
Start!
She could. An explosion of noise from the crowd and the Brazilian team went wild. And an astonishing ending, Medeiros was Paralympic champion. Which meant that Marian Serrano from Chile received bronze. Zheng Feifei from the People's Republic of China slipped into second for silver. And Tiana Medeiros from Brazil is the new Paralympic champion after an incredible morning in Paris.
A ficha ainda não caiu.
I'm so happy, I can't explain it. This still hasn't sunk in. I came here preparing to get the silver medal, but when we saw that things were turning out differently, and then we could have a chance for the gold, my two coaches turned around to me and said, let's go for it. And I told myself, just go out there and I'll do it. And it worked out, thank God, and we're going home with this medal.
My name is Elias Mastores. I'm a chairperson of blind football of the International Blind Sports Federation. Well, I've been involved since the beginning, since day zero. Actually, in the 90s, I was a chess trainer in school for the blind, and there was a global movement to start blind football. So it is an inclusive sport. When you see all this, the vision behind all the people that were working, it's like huge, but it is beyond my expectations.
I think the big thing with blind football is to try and be as descriptive as possible. So what I like to do is I constantly like to inform the viewer, the spectator, where the ball is, in which third. Is the ball in the middle third, in the attacking third, in the defensive third? If it's on the left flank, the right flank, who has the ball, who's challenging for the ball, what player has the ball, what player is trying to snatch that ball away from his opponents. So to try to be as descriptive as possible. They like that my commentary is as descriptive as possible, but a feedback that I got not too long ago was just to add more statistics. We want to know how many shots each team has, how many shots were on target, what's ball possession, and those numbers help the viewer paint a picture.
We have a high number of people with visual impairment in our games, and so far over the last 10 years we practice the audio description. We started something new, a new innovation. We call it touch to see, and it's like a tablet that is tactile. It's connected with 5G technology, and the life experience is amazing.
I like it a lot because it is a new tool. I didn't know it existed. On it, I can follow the ball's movement on the field. It gives me my bearings and allows me to visualize the game. If I'm not mistaken, IBSA, the International Blind Sports Federation, has 64 national teams, and that number has increased a lot over the past few years. So I think the next level of commentary is to just build up commentary in all aspects of the production as possible, because when you do that, then you help take this sport to more and more people, and believe me, it can be just as exciting as regular football at times, if not more.
There was lots of support for the athletes as the men's and women's T12 marathons got underway in northern Paris. For this event, the male and female athletes are on course at the same time. This was a category for visually impaired competitors, and several would run with guides. In the men's race, Wajdi Boukili of Tunisia took an early lead. He was one of those running without assistance. He'd finished 6th at Tokyo 2020, but was expected to challenge for a medal this time. As the race develops, he was joined at the front of the field by El Amin Chentouf of Morocco, who won this event in both Rio 2016 and Tokyo 2020. In the women's T12, it soon became clear that Morocco's Fatima Ezzara El Idrissi was the runner to beat. She led from the early stages. But a more significant race was developing between Chentouf and Bekele in the men's. They couldn't be separated during the first half of a gruelling race. Behind the front two, Alberto Suarez Lassa of Spain, Hatem Nasrallah of Tunisia, and neutral Paralympic athlete Denis Gavrilov were all in contention for medals. For the women, El Idrissi was increasingly confident. And there'd been a big move among the men. Chentouf was struggling. He was now a few metres behind Bekele. The 25-year-old was in control. By the time the runners reached the Champs-Élysées, Chentouf remained second, but in hot pursuit was Suarez Lasso, the 46-year-old Spanish runner who'd won this race back at London 2012. The battle was on for the silver medal. Up ahead, Bekele had built a gap between himself and his rivals. He came towards the finish line with nobody else near him. Bekele the winner in a time of 2 hours 22 minutes and 5 seconds. Second went to the fast-finishing 46-year-old Alberto Suarez Lassa of Spain. And El Amin Chentouf of Morocco added a bronze medal to the gold he collected at Tokyo 2020. The men's T12 marathon champion, Wajdi Bekele of Tunisia. Back to the women's race, where El Idrissi continued to run alone at the front. She'd won silver on the track over 1,500 metres and was about to add gold in the marathon. Her nearest rival was her Moroccan teammate, Mariam En Nouri, but the gap was 8 minutes. And with Paris looking at its very best, El Idrissi raced to victory. It was looking like a fast time too. She crossed the line in 2 hours 48 minutes and 36 seconds, a new world record. Morocco also took silver, thanks to Mariam En Nouri and her guide. And a disqualification for Spain's Elena Congost meant bronze went to the now former world record holder, Japan's Michishita Misato. Further down the field, there was a stumble close to the line for 59-year-old French athlete Rosario Gangloff. She got back to her feet and, roared on by the crowd, she completed the race. But the winner, in dominant fashion, was 29-year-old Fatima Ezzara El Idrissi. The athletic schedule at Paris 2024 had finished with another world record.
احساس ما نجمش نوصفه احساس باهي برشا الحقيقه هذا حلم اي بشر باش يكون بطل بارالمبي او بطل اولمبي الحمد لله اليوم انا من المحظوظين اني نجمت نكون في المرتبه الاولى في بارالمبي احساس باهي برشا وان شاء الله يجي خير ان شاء الله.
The People's Republic of China and Canada contested the bronze medal match in the women's wheelchair basketball competition.
Bandino still weaving around. There's only 4 on the shot clock. In for Tessier, gives to Ouellette. This is going to miss. And it's going to be gathered in by China's Shen Tongli. That was not a good trip down the floor, I don't think, for Canada.
They're just struggling to get Dan now to any sort of position. And Dandenau, a player who likes the ball in her hands, she's happy bringing it up in transition. But in this situation, she may be better just getting out of there, just breaking down the floor, and letting her teammates do some more of the ball handling.
Now Dandino collects the rebound.
Needs an early outlet here.
Launches one, and I don't think Ouellette's going to be able to get there. It's going to be another turnover. China specializing in causing turnovers. The last time these two teams met, they forced Canada into 15 turnovers.
Chinese player, we'll see that just a fraction late. She did have good wheel position, she's right with that, but she was still moving and maybe just a little too late.
Zhang Tongli, 60% free throw shooter through the tournament. And somebody moved on Canada, and so this is going to be forcing another, or allowing China to take another shot with Zhang Tongli.
It looked like that was Tessier just going in a little early there.
And now the Chinese player moved. And so this will go back to Canada.
And this is a different situation for Young to come into. As we said, struggled early in the tournament, but she's done very, very well and has contributed a lot to Canada's fantastic scoring from the bench, averaging 25.8 bench points a game, the Canadians. They are a little slow without the ball handler Ouellette on the floor, though.
And that shot from Dandino was a little bit short. It looked like she kept looking to see if she could find Young. As China moves the ball with Lin Suling, Liu Zhudi, and the shot put up by Zhang Shumei. Erin Young directing traffic while she rolls. Feeds a pass inside for Dandino. Rebounded by Lalonde, who draws the foul. It's going to be a non-shooting foul. Foul is on Zhang Shumei. Second foul on Zhang Shumei.
Not necessarily a bad thing for Canada that was called on the floor. 10 seconds to get a shot is a long time. It means they'll be able to stop China from having another opportunity to score.
Here's Erin Young. And that one's not going to drop. Rebounded by China. They won't get a shot, though. Missed opportunity for Canada, down by 8 points after the first quarter of play against China in this bronze medal game.
You see that huge fadeaway again from Young there. What a shot that was. She'll be frustrated at missing that last one, though. The last one was a comfortable look for her, and one that would have really given them all the momentum despite being down in the game going into the second quarter. She's going to be frustrated. There's been some great defense from China to limit her scoring, but she's also missed some shots that she would have expected to hit so far.
Sometimes players get a little rest on the bench, get a new perspective on the game, and things start to work. Here's the pick and roll, and that time Young got a hand on Chen Shuixing. 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's going to go in. What a shot by Zhang Tongli.
Incredible finish there, so much pressure. The chair was drifting away from the basket, but keeping her shoulders square was key there.
Hard pass from Young, bounces to Ouellette, and the captain gets Canada back on offense.
From a Canadian perspective, it'll be interesting how Young reacts here. The majority of her more successful games so far have been with Dandino in the game, where Dandino draws so much of the heat. Young is going to be the focus now from a Chinese defensive perspective.
Canada's other shooters out there would be Lalonde and Ouellette.
Very dangerous shooters, both of them, but they don't have the physical presence of a Young or a Dandino.
Liu Zhudi drops it off for Zhang Tongli. Just had that amazing shot. Here's Lin Suling, captain of Team China, in for Liu Zhudi, and hits another one over top of Melanie Houghton on a mismatch, and a timeout call being called. Canada down by 15 points with 6:48 to go in the half.
Just the 4th point so far of the day for Liu Zhudi, but Lin Suling out to 5 assists personal already.
But we talk about China not using its bench so much, Joe, but they've got all 5 of their players in points already in this game. Everyone has scored.
That for them is going to be a huge thing, particularly the ability to use their one-pointers to score on the layups.
China cruising here with an 18-point lead. Canada has yet to get any sort of rhythm going. Liu Shudi, Lin Suling, Shang Tong Li, watched by Tarayanis. The shot comes from outside the paint and outside the screen by Shang Shui Mei.
I know we're repeating ourselves a little here, but the composure from China is absolutely unbelievable. There's a wide open shot in the middle. There was no rush to take it. No, we can just run this shot clock down.
Dandino draws the foul by Lin Suling. That is her second personal. She's combined that with 10 points, though. I'm so blown away, Joe, with all 5 of the starters for China. They have 4, 6, 6, 7, and 10 points between them. So hard to stop a team like that.
Yeah, as a coach, how do you plan for that? If you know that every position you have to give up a shot somewhere, good offense will always find a shot. Who do you give up in this situation? Because their game plan was clear and it's just not working at the moment.
Or do you fight fire with fire? Do you have any one-pointers on your team, low-pointers who can score? Sheng Tong Li. Inside of 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. We've got another foul being called here. Oh, actually, this is an offensive foul. No?
It was a great steal by Lalonde. Just watching the replay there, she just reached in, grabbed the ball away. She just had it in her possession long enough as the Chinese player tried to recover it. Just had the arm of Lalonde, so she'll go back to the line. The reason she's taking free throws there, for those of you who aren't so familiar with wheelchair basketball, is that China are in team fouls. That means they've reached 5 team fouls here in the quarter. And from that point, every defensive foul leads to 2 free throws. You see that pass again, it was just fired in, but tough for Lalonde to read there, right between the 2 players.
Liu Shudi, 1-on-2, waits for some help for China. Lin Suling bounces it in for Shang Tong Li. Lin Suling takes her time. That one's a little bit short. So a rare miss here for China. It seems anyway. They are 8 of 13 in this quarter.
From a Canadian's perspective, that's going to be the keys. China aren't one of the greatest shooting teams if you really force them outside of their comfortable range. For example, from 3-pointers, they are not very strong. So if you can set a really high line and force them to take those extra long shots, they're going to struggle.
And no foul on this play. It's just blown down. Tarayanis. So Dandino struggling, continues to struggle here. She is now 2 of 9 from the field. China inbounds, under 2.5 to go, working on a 20-point lead. We get a foul call here on Canada's Cindy Wallet.
So the opportunities have been there for Canada to cut into this lead. Until that shot, though, they just haven't been taking them.
First substitution of the game, Captain Lin Suling going to the bench. In for China comes Liu Shudi. I'll get that right in a minute. That was actually Dai Shai Ming who came in. And a steal for Canada again. Less than half a minute to go in the second quarter. Cindy Willett weaves past the timeline.
Lalonde doing such a good job for a while out there, creating space. It's almost like this truck and trailer there just driving, with Lalonde creating all the space. But then that just lack of concentration right at the end, as we see this pass here. Just far too low from Willett.
Here's Zhang Tongli. She has been the breakthrough performer in this game for China with 21 points. Into the hands of Zhang Shuimei, who's been playing with 3 fouls a lot of the game and has done really well. And Zhang Tongli hits another one. 23 points for her. Leads all scorers by a wide margin.
And you can see the focus there. She waits. There's no rush when the player's pressuring her. It doesn't matter how close they are. Her only focus is the basket, and she gets that shot up with a hand in her face. When you're doing that at 65%, that's a strong game. You see Horton hitting the deck there. Not a foul, as the announcer says. Just a player down, an incidental contact. And that's part of the game in wheelchair basketball.
Melanie Houghton's been playing in Europe as well. 1-point player for Canada. Gets a lot of minutes. Here's Erin Young, 3-point attempt. Rocks it.
As we said, it feels like all of the shots that Young is making so far are the huge ones, and the easier ones not dropping. And that was another example. Enormous three-pointer.
Chen Shui-Shing. Zhang Tongli slings it all the way across for the score. I apologize, can't always read these numbers on the Chinese jerseys. They're so hard to see, these yellow, light yellow. That was Zhang Shuimei.
You see that three again from Young. Again, eyes are just on the ring, no concern about the pressure coming out.
Five on the shot clock. Pick and roll finds Lalonde. And Lalonde with the basket, and she's got 7, make it 9 points in the game. 50% shooting for Rosie Lalonde. Does well to get herself available, doesn't she?
She really does, and key to it is the pass from Young. If Lalonde was having to move outside of her cylinder to get hold of that, it'd be much more difficult for her to make the finish.
Erin Young puts up another one.
Ball to be inbounded, China ball. Shot clock running down, but they'll just keep running it down as far as they can. They know that this game is in the bag for them now, and that's a huge shot though. 14th point of the game for Zhang Shuimei. Open layup for Lai, her first points of the game. 14 seconds to go, 22-point lead to China. Canada have eaten into this Chinese lead, but only by 4 points so far, as China run a number of their bench. Dandenau looking to add to her personal score, but it's all a little too late as China take a big win here in the bronze medal game. 65 points to 43 over Canada.
Success in this game.
The bronze medal in the women's wheelchair basketball goes to the People's Republic of China.
I'm going to take you back to my initial accident. My car accident that rendered me a para rider. I had lost my brother and my fiancé in the accident, and the use of half my body. I was unconscious for quite a few days. The only thing that actually drove me to get out of that hospital was the one to ride again. A year after my initial accident, once I had started riding again, I actually fell off and broke my back, which not a lot of people know. And again, I was out of riding for 6 months. So in all the major turning points in my life, my pivot has been my horses. My first Paralympic Games, which was Athens, 2004. Very unexpectedly, I landed up winning 2 silver medals. 2008 was amazing. We landed up getting 2 gold in Beijing. Benedict and I had such a good partnership. I knew he had my back. I have the same feeling and same sort of partnership with Just in Time. She lives up to her name. I had her for a month before I fell ill. 2020. I was unfortunately diagnosed with a bacterial infection in my blood, which then went to my heart. And then the tests running up to the heart surgery, they actually discovered I had colon cancer. My drive was to be able to ride in Tokyo. And then obviously for 7 months I couldn't ride. The only thing I could do was literally play with her in the stable. So we were able to form a very special bond. It's a bit like having a dance partner. You've either got this amazing click together or your energies don't gel. You have to have a chemical reaction. This year, running up to Paris, she's the one who's been having the health issues. Paris our goal was just participation, really embracing the Olympic spirit. Through all the most difficult times in my life, horses have been the ones who have given me the driving force to go through. There are always going to be better horses, but what will make you stronger is the partnership that you form together.
The last of the para-canoe medals at Paris 2024 would be contested on the water with the 200-metre sprint races at Vers-sur-Marne. The athletes who had won their heats had already advanced to the finals. For others, the day's semi-finals offered a pathway to the medal races. Germany's Felicia Laberer came through her KL3 semi-final, and she'd get a chance to race again later on. And in the men's VL3 semi-finals, Great Britain's Jack Ayres and Peter Cowan of New Zealand would cross the line first and second to qualify for the final. It was time for the women's KL3 medal race, and the French and British fans were out in force. Laura Sugar of Great Britain started in lane 4, and she would start well alongside French home favourite Nelia Barbosa. Sugar powered past to cross the line first and defend her KL3 Paralympic title. Barbosa took her second KL3 silver medal, and with Laberer in third, the top 3 had all repeated their medal successes from Tokyo 2020. Nelia Barbosa delighted the crowd with her silver, but nobody could stop Laura Sugar from winning another KL3 gold medal. A tight men's VL3 race would feature some first-time medalists. Jack Ayres of Great Britain was going well in lane 6, and Ukraine's Vladislav Yepifanov was looking fast in lane 4, while Australian defending champion Curtis McGrath veered offline. Yepifanov was first across the finishing line, followed by Ayres and Cowan. The top 3 had all won their first Paralympic medals, but it was Ukraine's Vladislav Yepifanov who won the gold, concluding a superb set of para-canoe events at Paris 2024.
Honestly, I still can't process this. I'm pleasantly surprised. I knew I could do it, but to do it in real life is great. I'm not planning on stopping. I'm going to get at least 2 more gold medals.
We practice over and over again doing hundreds and backing myself. Even when I'm nervous and my brain's telling me, oh, you can't do this, that I have that experience to just go, no, just go and give it your all. And we train in Nottingham in the UK, so a little bit of wind doesn't really kind of phase off. We're not kind of afraid of that. It's just kind of managing it, doing your race process, and then dealing with whatever happens during the race. So I think as a squad, we have a huge strength that we practice and practice and practice, and that's what shows today.
Allez. Fencing, when I get in the chair, it's like my zen. When I was recruited, it's for LA 2028. And when they realized I had a chance, then we kind of went back and started teaching me the basics I needed to be able to get this far. The goal is always to win. I don't know if that's the Marine in me or just my competitiveness, but it's to win. But in second shot, it's to just have fun, because I have to remember, I can't be too hard on myself. It's only been 2 years. I'm a veteran. I tore a lot of ligaments in my knee and I messed up my right shoulder. And then a few years later, I messed up that same ankle because of the knee. And it got to a point where it was suggested that I fused the knee and the ankle. And I was like, that's barbaric compared to an amputation these days. So I basically said, you amputate it or I will. So the injury was very hard because the Marine Corps is supposed to be my life, and depression, anxiety, everything set in. And if it hadn't been for adaptive sports and finding what I lost in the military, I wouldn't be here. After my injury, it was my goal to make the Paralympics. I just didn't know what sport it was. Parasports is why I'm still alive. I met people who understood what I was going through. I gained that community that I needed to help me understand what I was going through and process what I was going through. So I wouldn't be here without it. It's all a dream. Doing it with an awesome team, doing it in a beautiful place with fans everywhere. I mean, if anyone can do their sport and have it in a special place, I mean, where else could you do it but here?
The wheelchair fencing concluded inside the Grand Palais as the People's Republic of China took on Iraq for the gold medal in the men's épée team competition. China had won 9 of the 15 gold medals available before this in the wheelchair fencing events. But it was Iraq who came into this one as top seeds. Tian Jianquan won his first Paralympic gold medal in Beijing 16 years ago. He made a strong start, putting China 5-1 up after the first bout. The objective is to hit the opponent anywhere on the body, from the waist up. There are 9 bouts in a team match, with each athlete taking on every member of the opposing team. A wonderful display from Haider Al-Aghali in bout 3 saw Iraq move ahead 15-12. They still had the advantage going into bout 6, but Sun Gang, who'd won 3 golds in Paris already, turned the contest around. Meaning China had a narrow 30-27 lead going into the final 3 bouts. The team match concludes at the end of the 9th bout, or when one team reaches 45 points. Going into the final contest, Sun needed just 5 for victory. He showed his quality as the 7-time Paralympic champion was able to get the job done. It added another gold to his glittering resume. China winning this event for the very first time to complete a hugely successful wheelchair fencing campaign for them at Paris 2024. They finished with 10 gold, 5 silver and 4 bronze medals.
मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि मैंने भारत का नाम और ऊंचा किया और अपने भारत के लिए गोल्ड मेडल जीता। इससे ज़्यादा खुशी की बात मेरे लिए नहीं है। मेरे पास वैसे काफ़ी गोल्ड मेडल हैं, पर जब पेरिस में नेशनल एंथम भारत का बजा तो रोंगटे खड़े हो गए और काफ़ी न्यू एक्सपीरियंस था। पहली बार मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ है, तो मैं काफ़ी प्राउड फील कर रहा हूँ कि इंडिया का मैंने नाम और ऊपर किया। तो इसके लिए ही मैं प्रिपरेशन कर रहा था काफ़ी टाइम से। बीच में काफ़ी मुश्किलें आई हैं, बट मुश्किलों ने मुझे टूटने नहीं दिया। मैंने अपने आप को और मजबूत किया और मजबूती से खड़ा किया, और रिजल्ट आपके सामने है। मैं देश को धन्यवाद बोलूँगा, उन्होंने मेरा काफ़ी मनोबल और हौसला बढ़ाया। मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा हमारी सरकार का, स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया का और पैरालंपिक कमेटी ऑफ इंडिया का, जिन्होंने पैरा एथलीट्स को प्रमोट किया और आज पैरा आसमान की बुलंदियों को छू रहा है। घर में मैं ऑफ ग्राउंड थोड़ा शांत रहना पसंद करता हूँ, बट सेलिब्रेशन का प्लान अभी एक बार घर वालों से मिल लूँ तो काफ़ी अच्छा रहेगा। अभी तो नहीं पता कर सकता, क्योंकि मेरी एक ही बार अभी बात हुई है मम्मी से। काफ़ी खुश हैं घर वालों में, घर पे खुशी का माहौल है, तो देखते हैं जाके होता है जो भी होता है। पूरा परिवार, पूरा गांव और पूरा डिस्ट्रिक्ट वेट कर रहा है, और जाते हैं, मिलते हैं सबसे जिनसे नहीं मिला, स्कूल फ्रेंड्स और दिल्ली वाले दोस्त, बेंगलोर वाले दोस्त, सबसे मिलना है। सबसे जाके मिलेंगे एक एक करके जैसे भी समय मिलेगा।
एक्चुअली 100 मीटर में जैसे कि 4th रह गई थी, तो कहीं ना कहीं मोरल डाउन हो गया था कि पता नहीं 200 में क्या होगा, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं मेरी 100 मीटर मेन रेस थी, तो बहुत टूट गई थी, बहुत रोई थी उस दिन, क्योंकि एक सपना था कि पैरालंपिक में इंडिया के लिए मेडल लाना, और ट्रैक इवेंट में। और फिर उसके बाद शायद मैं इसलिए खड़ी हो पाई क्योंकि मेरे पास सपोर्ट थी, मतलब पूरी पीसीआई मेरे साथ थी, और सांगवान सर है हमारे साथ, और मतलब इन सब की मेरे को बहुत सपोर्ट रही। हर किसी ने मेरा मोरल अप किया कि नहीं बेटा तुम्हारा दूसरा मेडल पक्का आएगा, हम बोल रहे हैं पक्का आएगा। तो शायद सर की, पीसीआई, साई, यूपी फेडरेशन, भारत सरकार, यूपी, जैसे कि मैं उत्तर प्रदेश से हूँ, और कल ही मुझे ये चीज़ पता चली थी कि यूपी में पैरालंपिक मेडलिस्ट को नौकरी दी जा रही है, जैसे कि अभी एशियन गेम में एबल वालों को मिली थी। तो मुझे भी इसलिए ही नींद नहीं आई रात में कि मुझे भी नौकरी लेनी है एक बड़े उसकी। और बाकी थैंक यू सो मच पीसीआई और हमारे सारे स्पॉन्सर्स, OGQ, मेरी पूरी टीम, थैंक यू सो मच।
और सिमरन ने ये मेरा सपना पूरा कर दिया, 28वां मेडल लाके, वो भी ट्रैक में। इससे पहले जैसे इसने बताया, पहले कभी भी ट्रैक में नहीं आए हैं हमारे। मिल्खा सिंह जी और PT उषा जी 4th नंबर पर है, पहली बार 3 मेडल आए, और तीनों के तीनों लड़की।
मैं तो एक ही बात कहूँगा कि भगवान जी का साथ था, जो हमें जर्नी में सपोर्ट किया, सबका बहुत अच्छा साथ था। और 100 मीटर के बाद तो मैं भी थोड़ा टूट सा गया हूँ, जो मैं कभी आज तक टूटा नहीं हूँ। और ऐसे बता दूँ, मैं 18 साल का हूँ अभी, सो मेरे लिए जो प्रेशर बहुत ज़्यादा था, बट मैं दी और गज्जू भैया के साथ था तो उतना नहीं लगा मुझे प्रेशर। बट मैं एक ही बात कहना चाहूँगा कि बप्पा जी ऐसे आज आए हैं, हमारा भी मेडल उन्हीं के कारण आया है। बस अच्छा भागना है, मेरे को मेरा रेस भागना है, क्योंकि मैं खुद का भी रनर हूँ, तो मुझे मेरी रेस भागना है। और बात उसकी कि मेरे दिमाग में क्या चल रहा था, एक एथलीट का जब तक ब्लॉक में, जैसे ब्लॉक है हमारा, ब्लॉक तक नहीं बैठते जब हम लोग, दिमाग में इतना चलता रहता भाई ये गड़बड़ ना हो जाए, ये गड़बड़ ना हो जाए। बट जब वो ऑन योर मार्क स्टार्ट होता है, उसके बाद ब्लैंक हो जाता है। फिर एक ही चीज़ होता है, फिनिश लाइन कौन सबसे पहले क्रॉस करेगा, सिर्फ वही गिनता है इंसान। तो मेरे दिमाग में बस यही था कि फिनिश लाइन बस तब से पहले क्रॉस करना है हमको।
पहली बार हम लोग ओलंपिक खेलने आए, बहुत अच्छा लगा, एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा लगा। अभी इसके बाद रेस्ट करेंगे, उसके बाद सोचेंगे फिर क्या करना है। गवर्नमेंट से हम लोग अभी साइकिलिंग में बहुत कम लोग हैं, साइकिलिंग में बहुत इंकरेज करना है गवर्नमेंट को भी। हम लोग पहली बार 64 इयर्स के बाद रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं। हम लोग अभी 2 ही आए, एक लड़का और लड़की में। बहुत लोग आ सकते हैं, गवर्नमेंट बहुत सपोर्ट करना है। जैसा इंटरनेशनल इवेंट्स रहते हैं उसमें पॉइंट कलेक्ट करना रहता है, उसमें सपोर्ट करना है गवर्नमेंट को। अभी वर्ल्ड चैम्पियनशिप है और एशियन चैम्पियनशिप है, उसी 4 साल से पहले अगला ओलंपिक को खेलना है, तो इसमें पॉइंट कलेक्ट करना होता है। अभी से हम लोग नेक्स्ट जो 2028 का ओलंपिक है तैयारी करने का, अभी से तैयारी करेंगे तो जब तक हम लोग उधर तक पहुंचेंगे। मैं बहुत हार्ड वर्क कर रहा हूँ ये ओलंपिक तक पहुंचने के लिए। मेरे को हर एक मतलब बहुत काफ़ी फेस कर रहा हूँ मैं, और कोच भी बहुत मेहनत करे ये पोजीशन तक लाने। थैंक यू सो मच सर, आदित्य सर, जो मेरे को ये लेवल तक लेके आए। बहुत और हार्ड वर्क करे है, घर को छोड़ के पूरा मेरे पीछे पड़े और ये पोजीशन तक मेरे को लेके आए। थैंक यू सो मच कोच को। वो लोग भी हार्ड वर्क करते हैं, उनको गवर्नमेंट का सपोर्ट चाहिए। जैसा छोटे मतलब एशियन चैम्पियनशिप रहता है, हर एक साल में चलता है, उसको गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट करना है हम लोगों को भेजने के लिए। थोड़े ही भेजते हैं, उससे हम लोग अगला ओलंपिक तक हम लोग नहीं पहुंच पाएंगे। हर एक इवेंट को एथलीट को सपोर्ट करना है तो ये लेवल तक, और अभी तो 2 ही आए, बहुत सारे लोग आने के चांसेस है इसमें।
2 साल के मेहनत में जो हमने किया है, मेहनत 2 साल में प्रैक्टिस की है, उतना लगा तो दिया है सर। बट सर इधर का जो प्रॉब्लम है ना सर, रास्ता जो हमारा देखा नहीं रहता है सर। हम 1-2 बार प्रैक्टिस किए तो हो जाता है सर, बट हमें लगता है कि हम मतलब 7 से 8 दिन प्रैक्टिस करें इस रोड पे, तो सर इससे भी कहीं जो गुना हमारा परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा आ सकता है सर। सर ये तब 3rd टाइम है मेरा, बस कंपटीशन के पहले मैं 1 ही बार चलाया था, उसके बाद मेरे 4 तारीख को रेस था सर, उसके बाद आज था सर, तो अच्छा रहा सर एक्सपीरियंस। बस माइंडसेट रहा था कि मेरे को फिनिश करना है। अभी साइकिलिंग स्टार्ट की है तो हमारा एक ही मतलब फोकस था कि हम उनको पकड़ के चले, लेकिन सर उनकी प्रैक्टिस और मेरी प्रैक्टिस में बहुत फ़र्क है सर।